Hey everyone, it's James, also known as Flagman, and welcome back to the third and final part of the 6-month recap and look back at the first 6 months of Splatoon 3. If you just picked the game up for the first time and are just wondering what has been going on in the video game for the last couple of months, keep watching. If you have not seen the first 2 parts of this video, make sure you watch them and then come back here afterwards. If you already have, then welcome back. This third part is going to be a lot like the third Lord of the Rings movie. You don't want to watch it, really, but hey, you've got this far. In the first video, I talked about the pre-release hype. In the second video, I talked about the hero mode. And now, let's talk about everything that happened post-launch, and of course, my personal thoughts on the game as it stands. The first season of Splatoon 3, the 2022 Drizzle season, started on release date and ended on November 30th. And first, I need to ask Nintendo something. Why did you put a dabbing inkling in this game? Children play this stuff, please stop it. But emotes are the only thing that you could get out of the catalog. There were many other cool things you could get, such as gear, locker customizations, table turf cards, banner customizations. I really enjoyed the addition of seasons, mainly because they help keep the game more immersive since Splatoon uses a live service model, and is the only Nintendo game series amongst gamers to get away with using one. And yes, I also do want to say that we actually get more out of these seasons than with regular content updates. We have a lot more gear options getting dropped from the start of the season. We have a lot of cool events that were added. Speaking of which, Nintendo announced the first Splatfest for the game, second if you count the test fire, in Nintendo Direct on September 13th, 2022, with the themes being, what would you bring to a deserted island, and the choices being gear, grub, and fun. I went with Team Grub because I asked my parents this question, however I weirdly ended up not participating, and that's because I was busy finishing the hero mode while that was going on. Shiver ended up winning at Splatfest because, well, if you watch Survivor then you'd understand why Team Gear won. I did, however, participate in the Splatoon X Pokemon Splatfest that took place during Remembrance Day weekend to promote the upcoming Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games. This got announced out of nowhere on Twitter during October 7, 2022, and I think we were all expecting a Halloween Splatfest, but this is even better. Remember when I said that Splatoon has 3 Team Splatfests? We were all predicting a Pokemon Splatfest would be happening because the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games were planned for release on November 18th of that year. How did the Splatfest go? Well, let's just say Big Man absolutely murdered the competition, shall we say? Splatfest consists of 2 halves. The first half plays as normal, however the second day opens Tricolor Turf War. How Tricolor Turf War works is that 4 players on the defending team have to prevent the 2 defending teams with 2 players each from claiming the area in the center. The defenders also have a chance to try and claim an Ultra Signal, which is successfully claimed by the defenders. A Springboard Duel will spawn, spraying down paint on the defender's area for the remainder of the battle. Usually if an Ultra Sight is claimed by the attackers, it guarantees the attackers win. Originally, the team in the lead of Splatfest was always defenders, but this later got changed in Chill Season to any team being on offense or defense. Another thing about Tricolor is that during the test fire, it appeared a lot after the halfway point, and I wonder if that's how Team Rock won their surprise victory. So Nintendo then nerfed how random Tricolor Turf War occurred for a second Splatfest, which is quite a shame because everyone was excited to play Tricolor Turf War, and some made it through the entire Splatfest without any Tricolor. So what did Nintendo do for the Pokemon Splatfest? Well, let's just say the first 2 versions of Tricolor were a little bit too favored towards the offense, so they made the Pokemon Splatfest Tricolor map, Sturgeon's Shipyard, which was the Tricolor map for the first Splatfest, more fair to the defenders by adding more paintable areas near the defender's spawn point and closing off the extra paths for the attackers. That was how Big Man won the Pokemon Splatfest in every single category. Hashtag Big Man Sweep indeed. The Chill Season was announced on November 14, 2022, and with it came the return of Flounder Heights from Splatoon 1 with a redesigned look. Specifically, the apartment buildings were constructed to be more to the Freestore buildings while retaining the look of Splatoon 1. Also, another map was unveiled, an entirely new one called Brinewater Springs, which is themed around the onsen, which are Japanese outdoor hot springs or the traditional inns where they have thermal baths. We also got a new catalog with new and returning gear, new locker customizations, and also new weapons added as well. I won't talk about the weapons here, but we did get the Sniper Rider, a brand new charger weapon, which allows you to charge up and fire 5 shots consecutively instead of 1. And oh yes, the debut of Big Run. Big Run is an event where Salmon Run is played on a multiplayer stage, and I'm sure many of you Splatoon 2 lore fans have noticed in the trailer for Big Run the 7 rings from one of the sunken scrolls. I suspect this retrospectively foreshadowed the migration to the Splatlands, but I don't care. Big Run was fun, and sometimes you gotta make like the Pet Shop Boys, because the truth about Salmon Run, it's a sin. I'm so sorry, Small Fry. I had to perfect Splatsville. The first map to become a big run stage was Wahoo World, and since there's no water near the stage, salmonids instead came from giant gushers on the stage. I saw many folks don't like Wahoo World as a stage in multiplayer, but it made for a much better big run stage, with some wishing Wahoo World would close down permanently as a multiplayer stage and become a salmon run stage. While we're on the topic of salmon run, Marina's Bay was added, returning from Splatoon 2, and yes, I do also want to add this right now. The Kohozuna was hard to beat. If you know how to beat a Kohozuna, you're amazing. We also had another Splatfest for January 2023, with the theme being, what's your favorite taste sensation? The 3 choices were spicy, sweet, and sour. I was on Team Sweet, and that was because Fry, at the time, had not won herself a Splatfest, and she ended up winning this one. I find it weird in every Splatfest I participated, I never went on Shiver's team, although she is my favorite idol. Also during chill season, Tricolor Turf War was permanently worked so that now any team could be on either offense or defense, ensuring no team is favored, and although it is fun and balanced, at least it's more fun this way. Even if the idea was not executed to perfection, it is still awesome and adds to the chaotic nature that Splatoon is well known for. I enjoy the idea of having all 4 teams take battles against each other, and I would love to see this game mode be added to private battles at some point, maybe after they end Splatfests. While we're on the topic of the Splatfests, there was another Splatfest taking place around Valentine's Day, with the theme being whether you prefer dark chocolate, milk chocolate, or white chocolate. Unfortunately, I was not aligned while it happened at the time. I was visiting Europe, primarily Italy, with my family, but if I was given the option to take part in the Splatfest, I would have gone milk chocolate. Big Man ended up winning the Splatfest, and again in every single category. Also, with a Nintendo Direct on February 8, 2023, Nintendo announced more details about the Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass, as the large-scale major pay DLC is now called. Being released in 2 ways, the first part allowed us to travel to Inkopolis, the hub from the first game. Nice to see it come back for most Splatoon fans had their first experience in Splatoon with Splatoon 2, so it's nice when they added. So much for Marina calling Inkopolis Plaza a ghost town during Splatoon 2's Retro vs. Modern Splatfest. And yes, we finally got our first look at the major paid DLC with Pearl and Marina. Nintendo had teased back in August called Side Order, and something tells me that Pearl and Marina had a major downfall, or something happened to them. In addition to that, it appears that Agent 8 from the Octo expansion appears, and considering Splatoon 3 for all the chaos path due to the outcome of Smile and Splatfest, this single-player campaign is named after Order, and Inkopolis Square looks very dry, devoid of color. Deca Tower looks absolutely nothing like it should. What happened here? We won't know for a while, but Inkopolis came out on February 28th, and Side Order is set to come out sometime in 2024. That's just a placeholder, by the way. I know how many are upset of what they did to Pearl and Marina, but we gotta remember that Deep Cut and the Squid Sisters need a chance to shine as well. And the only reason Nintendo announced the DLC ahead of time with Pearl and Marina as the stars to ensure that they did not have to deal with the whole bring back Callie junk that was rampant on social media during Splatoon 2's early lifespan. I'm sure you guys probably all remember that. But still, a lot of Splatoon fans, myself included, are a little disappointed that Pearl and Marina don't have much of a presence in Splatoon 2's base game aside from the band Damp Songs and their amiibo figurines. And that was the first 6 months of Splatoon 3. It's still too early to make a final decision on how the game has been overall, but as my first impression of Splatoon, it's actually grown on me. I didn't think I would get so much out of the game, but look at all the awesome stuff we got. A card game side mode, free team Splatfest, Twitch Tricolor Turf Wars, Big Run, and of course a 24-hour Salmon Run that's a deal buster, a really cool base game hero mode, and not even counting the extra quality of life features Nintendo gave us as well, such as lockers, banners, emotes, and a nice photo mode tucked in there. They really make Splatoon 3 feel like the living world akin to Animal Crossing, and I'm not surprised by that considering many of the staff on the Splatoon games did also make Animal Crossing, including Splatoon series creators Katsuya Eguchi and Asashi Nogami. And yes, there are some problems like the unbalanced multiplayer mode, Return of Aliens being a bit too similar to Octo Expansion, update cycles not happening as free in its past games, but hey, that's why updates exist. And let's remember that we got great gear variety on day 1. We even got 12 maps and almost 40 music tracks a day out of the goodness of Nintendo's hearts. And we get a lot of great gear updates at the start of every season. I think Splatoon 3 is going strong and can always look for room for improvement. I cannot wait to see where Splatoon 3 goes from here, and it's just going to make me more excited. thank you all for watching through this 3-part recap and making it to the end. If you enjoy Splatoon or have just played Splatoon for the first time and you really want to get more out of this game, leave a like on the video, drop something in the comments, even if it's just the word hi, and subscribe to see new content daily, Splatoon related or Nintendo games in general. Again, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you next time!